A very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining our Homeopathy 24/7 podcast. We are going to be speaking to an array of international guests who will share their knowledge and experiences of homeopathy with you. We will discuss all types of subjects such as remedies, symptoms, and stories of health. No matter where you are with your homeopathic journey, we aim to inspire you on your quest to natural health and living. The podcast is brought to you by Mary Greensmith, the founder of Homeopathy 24/7, which is a global platform connecting you with a homeopath wherever you are in the world, 24 hours a day. So let's get started with today's chat. Please welcome Mary Greensmith.
Hello and welcome. It's so lovely to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really pleased to be able to welcome back Lisa Robbins. It's lovely to see you again, Lisa. How are you doing?
Very well, and excited to share my remedy with the listeners.
Lisa, which remedy are you going to discuss with us today?
It's often called Mercurius. It's sometimes called Merc Sol and sometimes called Merc Viv, and it's sometimes called Quicksilver.
It is. It is such a brilliant remedy as well. Can we first of all just get rid of those doubts that we have? Why have we got Merc Sol and Merc Viv? Can you just iron that one out for me to start with?
It has different names because there are different manufacturers, and the Merc Sol is what Hahnemann originally came up with, and the Merc Viv is what another company marketed it to be.
It's interesting, isn't it? And it always comes up, and I always say that different manufacturers, have different things, and I sometimes forget to say in my prescriptions, it might be found as the other one, not this one. So tell me about this remedy. Why would we use Merc Sol?
When we started talking a few minutes ago, I mentioned that in liquid, at room temperature, it's in liquid form, and you'll find Merc Sol or Mercury in the thermometer. And it is basically, it's a wonderful way to remember the remedy, a remedy for a patient who is essentially a human thermometer. That's a marvelous way to remember it.
Isn't it?
Thing bothers him. Everything. Very few things make him better. Maybe if he's lying down and doing nothing. But other than that, if he's too hot, if he's too cold, if he's wet, if he's dry, if he's hungry, if he's not, it doesn't matter. Everything bothers him. He's extremely sensitive to changes in temperature, in environment, and to contradiction.
Ah, yes. It's interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, it does have quite an emotional picture. And we don't talk about that very much, do we? We use it a lot for first aid things. But this emotional picture is so precise, isn't it?
Yes. I can't think of another remedy. Well, I can think of a few, but not too many remedies that are so adverse to contradiction as is Mercurius. Yeah.
Yes, it's a fascinating remedy. So where would we see it used most? What are people using this remedy for?
Well, it seems to me that it's mostly used for problems of skin and problems of the blood in the throat and with the glands and the lymph system. In fact, probably less skin, more blood, throat, glands, especially the salivary glands and the lymph system. The genitals sometimes get involved as well because it's a good remedy for syphilis.
Oh, yes, of course. It is a very syphilline remedy, isn't it? Okay, so let's talk in the mouth at the moment, because I love it as a mouth remedy and for infections and things like that. But it has got this affinity with saliva,
which is how you know that's what the patient needs. When they say I'm just constantly building up spit in my mouth, you know that they probably need Merc Sol. And let's say they've got a raw burning sore throat, and let's say you ask them, well, does that pain stay there, or does it go, oh yes, it's really bothering my right ear? A good indication. How is it when you swallow? I can't swallow. And how's your voice? Well, I'm having trouble talking to you. These are all indications that Mercurius or Merc Sol is what's needed. But the idea of a throat, of an extremely painful sore throat going to the ear is a very good keynote. And then I always ask them, well, what's going on in terms of your saliva? Are you dry? Are you? No, I have so much saliva I want to spit all the time. And then
Yes, yes, yes. Because it's a really good healing remedy, isn't it? For these things, for the sore throat and for tooth infections as well.
Yes.
So what we're saying is that the fact that they have got lots excess saliva is immediately going to make us think of the remedy, Merc Sol, and then we ask the other questions in order to confirm it. I love this remedy because I suffer from mouth ulcers, sores, if I eat the wrong thing. Just if I have a salty crisp or a salty nut, I will come up in a black blister immediately, seconds after it's been in my mouth. And Merc Sol, it just goes away.
Brilliant.
It is absolutely amazing. I love it. But it's useful, isn't it?
Very, very. I'm not surprised in a way because it's a fantastic purifier of the blood, and it's so mouth oriented. What surprises me, of course, I suppose, is that you think saliva as being quite, not exactly a clean thing. They say, "Don't spit on me," sort of thing. And so the mouth is a marvelous place for harboring diseases, and this is the remedy for that. Strangely, they are very thirsty, but only for cold drinks. And that is despite the fact that they have a lot of saliva.
Tell me a little bit more about the blood purifier.
It detoxifies two systems in the body, the lymphatic system and the circulatory system. So if you've got an inflammation, let's say you've got a mouth ulcer, a pussy mouth ulcer, because it's a detox remedy, it works very well to bring down your glands and to help with the blood circulation. It oxygenates the blood, and that will alleviate or diminish the pus, and the inflammation will go down as well. So that's what I meant when I said a blood purifier.
Okay, perfect. And obviously we use Merc Sol a lot for throat infections and for coughs. How would we differentiate it from some other remedies?
I suppose, well, for one thing, the things that we've been saying, some of the modalities, for instance, the fact that there'd be excess saliva, the patient would be worse at night. If the temperature went up or down, either way, the patient would suffer from that. The patient might be too hot or be too cold. I mean, everything bothers him. The patient will be sweating because they're just too moist in general. The skin is too moist. And yet, despite all the sweating, they don't feel any better at all. The patient might lie on his right side and immediately not, because lying on the right side doesn't work. In spite of the fact that most of these symptoms are right-sided. Well, maybe that does make sense. And anyway, he doesn't like to lie on his right side. He's extremely sensitive to any drafts. If he gets his feet wet, doesn't like it. If he looks at artificial light or firelight, doesn't like it. He just likes to lay around and do nothing, and he's a little bit better in the morning. So all of those things will tell me, including, of course, the saliva and some of the things that we talked about first, this is going to be much improved with Merc Sol.
Fantastic. It's just, I love just putting together all of these different bits of information in order to find the remedy. So apart from, we've been through mouth, we've been through throat, we've been through blood purifying. What else might we be using Merc Sol for?
Well, another case that I have had and treated successfully was with hand, foot, and mouth disease. Okay, it was the mouth as well. There were blisters inside the cheek and on the tongue, and the mouth was red and inflamed. The breath smelled terrible, and there was too much saliva. But it wasn't just the mouth that was affected. It was also blisters on the feet and sores on the hands. And so all three of it, it's marvelous for children who get this kind of thing by going to school. So it was a very useful treatment and worked quite well almost immediately. I was delighted.
Yeah, I should think that it is perfect for that, isn't it? The Merc Sol. It's almost as if it just cleans up immediately, and we do use it and find that it's a very fast acting remedy, isn't it? We find that some remedies are quite slow acting. With Merc Sol, it's always fast.
I've noticed that, but I never read anywhere that it says so. I'll take your word for it because I have noticed that with the patients that I've treated. And we've only really been talking about the physicals. There are mentals that Merc Sol addresses very nicely as well. And there's another physical that I didn't mention, which is that never done feeling when you're having a bowel movement. I mean, that's also true for other remedies, but this one, there's this sense that there's more there and it's not coming, but also because it's the human thermometer we're talking about, one day you might have diarrhea and the next day you're constipated. So it's bowel stools that are very changeable.
Okay, that's really interesting, and that really brings a bell with one of my clients. So thank you very much for that. I need to go back and investigate that a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more then about that emotional picture, because when we look deeper at Merc Sol and we realise that actually it has got a big character to it, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I mentioned in the beginning, I was saying something about everything bothers him, but what I was really thinking about there was they don't have any stability emotionally. They don't have any stability physically either, I might add. They're very vulnerable, so that if you offend them, they get really upset. In the early stages, they're kind of slow to answer, maybe even to understand, and they take a long time to get things done. They come across as kind of dull mentally. In later stages, there's this kind of inner hurry, this kind of intense emotional reaction maybe I just should say intense emotion that makes them quite impulsive. So they may not do this, but they would like to hit or kill someone who contradicts them.
Mm-hmm.
They may stammer. This again is a representation of this kind of inner emotional frenzy. They feel suppressed or dominated, or well, if they do, they want to get away. They fight desperately in order to protect themselves, and these impulsive desires are quite strong and hard to ignore. On the other hand, maybe this goes with it though. They're quite conservative. Things need to be done in order, and people need to be in their places. And yet at the same time, remember I said this is the human thermometer, they don't like routines. Very difficult. So there's this conflict between this penchant for order and people in their places and these violent impulses. But maybe it makes sense because if things aren't in order, they can be quite violent. Mercury children are noticeable because they're like little grown-ups. They're very precocious. They may be shy, but they're more often quite flirty and irritable. And they often have weak immune systems, and whatever's going around, they're going to catch it. It could be gastritis, it could be an ear infection, it could be a sore throat. Their glands swell up and they're not well. And then on another emotional level, they're afraid, not just the children, but Mercury patients tend to be afraid of so many things. First of all, am I going to get sick? Am I going to be ill and not get better? They're terrified of being mentally ill. Mm-hmm. And please remind me to tell you about the Mad Hatter. And they don't like the dark, and they don't like ghosts, and they don't like heights, and they don't like open places.
Lots of fears going on there.
Lots of fears. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about the Mad Hatter.
Well, everybody knows the story of Alice in Wonderland, and everybody knows that the Hatter was mad. Well, a lot of Hatters were mad. And the reason they were mad was because they used Mercury to make the hats, and Mercury makes you mentally, it destroys your brain basically, and it destroys your body. It makes you weak and debilitated, and it gives you the shakes. So there was a group of hatters in Danbury, Connecticut, way back when in the United States, who had the shakes because they were using Mercury to make hats. And the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland is probably the best example of that.
That's lovely, actually, just understanding. And it brings to mind as well the fact that we have got this conflict with Mercury. We have got, it doesn't know whether to be a solid or it doesn't know whether to be a liquid, and it's, changeable and it's irritable and it's doing lots of different things. And that's the picture we're getting from it, isn't it? It's very powerful, but it has got this changeable picture.
I was thinking about Pulsatilla, which is another very changeable remedy, and very mild and very timid and quick to cry and very clingy. Nothing like Mercury, and yet very changeable. So there would be a marvelous way to differentiate between the two of them.
And also, of course, the Pulsatilla has that, going up to the ear infection as well. Yeah. So you're right.
Well, that's true.
These two remedies are coming up with the same symptoms, but then we need to know, okay, are they close to tears? Are they irritable and feisty?
Yeah.
The characters are very different, aren't they?
Yeah, even if Pulsatilla were to be irritable, I'm sure that she would try and find a way to smooth the situation and be suppress whatever she was feeling, whereas the Mercury would just blast out and maybe have to restrain himself from using a knife.
Yes. Because Pulsatilla wants to be loved, and Mercury couldn't care less.
Too right.
Such a lovely remedy. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about it.
I'm glad I could come and share it. It is one of my favorites. Thank you.
I do hope you've enjoyed these episodes, and I do hope you can subscribe to our channels. Now, there are various ways for you to listen to our podcast or watch it on video on YouTube. So whether it's iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, please do subscribe and please do leave us a review. If you leave us a review on these platforms, then more people will see our podcast. We just want more people to share the joy of homeopathy. It's a choice that everybody should know about. Please do everything you can to help us help more people.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to listening to our next one. Please don't forget to follow our podcast on your chosen channel, and please do leave us a review so we can continue to share homeopathy with as many people as possible. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to us on any of our social platforms mentioned in the show notes. We at Homeopathy 24/7 hope to empower you on your natural health journey.